Everyone, Karen Roby and Erik Eckel here for Tech Republic, looking ahead to WWDC 2020, just a couple days from now, Erik, and I know people are really looking forward to this. It'll be a different type of event than what we're used to, considering the time we're in right now. Talk a little bit
Yes.
about what you expect to see and hear. I'm sure there'll be some surprises, always is, but what do you think about this so far?
It's interesting. It's unprecedented right off the bat that, the first surprise is no one will be attending in person. This is a very social event, and due to the pandemic, it's going to be a digital online event. So it's going to be interesting to see how Apple deals with that and the ramifications of that. And WWDC is always such an event every year where, everyone has come to expect new hardware and new software, new operating system announcements or updates. And certainly we're expecting all of that on the iOS platform, on the iPad operating system as well, Mac OS, even tvOS and watch OS. And I don't think it's going to be a big surprise, but people are expecting that Apple will announce that they're introducing new CPUs, the ARM architecture for some of their hardware. So you get the typical news that has become expected at this event. But in an article that I had written earlier, I observed that these are extraordinary times. Everyone is working remotely in many cases, excuse me, on short notice,
Right.
without a lot of preparation. And I'm hopeful that we see some announcements, which are maybe wishful thinking, but I'm hoping that we see some announcements that introduce some type of collaboration improvements, or even potentially a platform that might be a Zoom or a Microsoft Teams platform. We use Teams in my office. We have almost 100 employees who use it. And there's integrated file sharing. Of course, it's a video platform, video conferencing platform as well, but there are nuances to using it. And on the Mac side, it works very well because I use a Mac to connect to it. But I would love to see, what Apple can do with its ease of use and the intuitiveness that Apple brings to those solutions. So I'm hoping that we hear something on that front based on the pandemic and the environment in which we're all operating. But it would be very short notice, admittedly, for Apple's developers to prepare such a solution. There's a lot of sharing and collaboration features, or there are a lot of collaboration features built into the iWork platform pages and Keynote and Numbers. But it would be great to see iCloud extended a little bit more. I think to help accommodate a lot of folks who suddenly found themselves working remotely, whereas in the past they were used to maybe walking down the hall or walking down to a workstation around the corner to collaborate.
Yeah, it's changed so drastically how we do,
Yeah,
our daily work. I know a lot of tech companies, of course, were used to, had people scattered about and were remote, but for so many
sure.
companies, all over the board, all over the world, it's been just changed overnight, really upside down. And Apple, of course, sets the tone, for so often at this type of event, Erik. So how do you feel like, just in general, it will be received? Or, I mean, are you looking forward to seeing how they handle it? Do you think it'll be a difficult endeavor for them?
Sure. I am. Apple has developed a reputation over time for really some paradigm changing introductions. Steve Jobs used to be famous for saying, at the end of what everyone thought was the end of a presentation, and there's one more thing. Um, since the iPad, which really, if you remember, there used to be a netbook craze, and then Apple introduced the iPad, and netbooks kind of went by the wayside because here was a platform that was, in the same uh, cost range, but could do more. Um, I don't think there's been a really big announcement coming out of WWDC for several years. And, just Apple has had a talent in the past for really wowing folks with some, introductions. And it just feels like, wow, it's no secret that businesses are battling, all you have to do is read the headlines. There's a political unrest issue. There is a global health crisis, and now there's an economic, crisis as well. And it's like, wow, any one of those can be life-changing and, change the course of history. And you've got three conspiring at the same time. So, how awesome would it be to see Apple step up and introduce some tools and products that are designed to help businesses with those challenges. And we're already seeing some of it. Anybody who's looked at their iPhone, if you dig into the health, settings there, you see that there's a COVID contact tracing option you can enable now. So, Apple's developers are working on this. I think it's just something that, how many people were prepared in March to send the bulk of their companies home to work remotely. And I can tell you as a managed services provider that we had a lot of clients call on short notice, all of a sudden needing a lot of the remote capabilities that people had talked about for a long time implemented very quickly, to the point that it became difficult to obtain hardware from providers. There's been more than run on just paper products.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Digital transformation plans for many have been put on fast forward now that we've been caught here in this situation.
Sure.
Erik, I know you'll be following this closely. They're watching all the developments, and we plan to talk with you again, of course, next week.
Sure.
To get your analysis on it. Do you think that just we always hear bits and pieces, right? Little secrets of what we expect, or rumors, or what's going to take place. But it just really is fascinating to see how they've had to come together in a short period of time and make do with where we are right now.
Yeah, I've had, like a lot of folks, academic training and career training and mentorship, but there's no playbook for the environment we're in right now. And I think that's why you see a lot of folks coming together, and there's a lot of change happening really quickly. And it's a tremendous opportunity for technology to help address issues that people are experiencing, not just personally, but professionally. And that's why I come back to WWDC has a history for introducing some paradigm shifting technologies. And boy, we could use some innovation right now. I think it's a little unfair to expect a lot more than what we discussed before, but if any company is to come through, I think Apple would be at the top of that list.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. All right, well, we'll just wait to see what happens. Certainly, we will check back in with you. And for all of you guys out there watching and checking back on Tech Republic, make sure you do through all of WWDC 2020. We will keep you up to date. Thanks for watching.